Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be xhairymuppetx, and we are actually introducing this game for the second time because I had a bit of a false start. I somehow forgot to press F5, which starts up Fraps, which is a bit of a mistake on my part, but we're going to have to reintroduce this game. It is going to be the EMS, that's the ESL Major Series. It's a clan-based tournament, teams fighting off against each other, sending out players one by one that are going to be absolutely wiped out. And sorry, I just had to alt tab there for a sec. I think the sound cuts out when I do that, but that's fine. And yeah, it is going to be between Karont and Team Empire in this semi-final series of games. This is round 2. In round 1, it was Happy representing Team Empire and VI Pro representing Karont. And yeah, Happy doing a fantastic job, man. First game, he did the Triple M. He had the Vikings countering the Colossus. He had the Ghost countering the High Templar. He knew his TVP like the back of his hand, and that was an excellent show of exactly how to counter everything a Protoss can send against you when you're doing Triple M. So really, if you are a Terran player and you like Triple M, you have to watch the game. It's the first game between Happy and VI Pro, and Happy really shows you how to handle Protoss when you're going for Triple M. That was the first game. Second game, it didn't last too long, and VI Pro, he left about 10 minutes in, and he didn't seem to be at a severe disadvantage when he left. And I cannot be sure why he left, because as I said, he wasn't losing. He didn't lose a massive amount of workers or anything. I honestly cannot explain it, but hopefully we will not see much more of that in this tournament, because of course it doesn't make for very good games when people leave unexpectedly at the 10-minute mark. So yeah, this guy, speaking of not leaving, this guy is completely stuck there. He is no way out. He tried to get up there, but the supply depot just said, yeah, you're getting out. Is he going to go for it again? Man, this could be a comedy routine. He just goes for the supply depot and it keeps getting lifted up. He's going to decide again to go for those guys. He gets chased away. I want to see him go for the supply depot again, man. It's going to be so funny. Come on. Is this drone just going to get killed? There's a Reaper, but the Reaper's not going for the drone. No, now it's going for the drone, and this drone is going to get wiped out. There's nothing he can do about that. He's just completely outmatched by the Reaper, but he is going to buy his own base a little bit of time, and he does scout out the Reaper, which is always important. So we're going to have to see. You see he's building a couple of Lings here. Lings on creep are not a half bad counter for a single Reaper. And he just has to buy himself time for the Queens to get out. Once the Queens are out, then Reapers are not really a threat anymore. But yeah, don't bother attacking that. You've got to go up and start attacking some drones. But you see the Lings come out. The Lings can be kited and killed when they're off the creep, but as long as they stay on the creep, they can easily chase the Reaper away. And they're just so much cheaper than the Reaper. So he's going to try and chase him away and still stay on creep. But all he's doing is buying time. Once the Queen comes out, the Reapers have just got no more power over the Zerg force. So there are 2 Reapers, completely ignoring that drone, so that's not going to be a very good idea. They're going to run around, maybe try and get some kills, but yeah, they're not going to do too well against the Queen. This other Queen is going to help out chasing them away, and they're just going to regen and then move in and try it again, I guess. They can continually try and harass stuff, maybe go for some drone kills or something like that. I do not know, but meanwhile the Zerg player getting up speed, so we're going to expect to see some Ling action a little bit later on. If he was going straight for roaches, he would not bother with speed. Or he would bother with speed, just not straight away. These guys, they're actually doing quite a bit of damage versus the Queen. And they're just going to regen their health and then go back in, I guess. Just going to fall back to the watchtower for now. One Ling going in. He's going to see the command center over there. And he is going to see the Hellions as well. Yeah, the Hellions coming in. And I really think it's unfair that roasting the Hellions didn't do splash damage to the SCVs, man. Because that's... It should do splash damage to the SCVs, the Hellions fire attack. It really should. Reapers coming in here. They're going to try and do damage to this half-dead Queen. But there's another Queen out here already. And it looks like there's actually a 4th Queen. So there's 4 Queens total. And these guys are in no danger at all. Not from the Hellions, not from the Reapers, nothing. And see, this guy's going back a little bit further, and these guys taking some pretty heavy damage. He might have to worry about the Hellions running in here and starting to roast some guys, especially when the Hellion numbers start to get beefed up a little bit more. So he is getting some Evo chambers down, and he's going to get a nice gate over here to try and keep these guys out. It's going to work for now, but meanwhile he's sending out a crap load of lings. There's one Marine in this bunker, but this bunker is not going to last very long at all. Going to try and get it repaired, but it's just not going to work. And lings with speed, going to go in there, going to do some good work to Hellions. The Hellions can try and counter it, try and kite them out there, but it's just not going to work. And the lings going in here doing some excellent SCV damage. They're going to get cut off by the supply depot though, and I think the Terran should be able to hold him off at this point if he keeps building units. However, the ones out here are going to be able to do quite a bit of damage, but here come the Hellions. They're not harassing anymore. They come back to defend, and they have taken out quite a few lings. And meanwhile, the Zerg player is expanding to his third base at the 8-minute mark. I love the play from our Zerg player so far here. He's taken very little damage from this Hellion harass. Meanwhile, he's continuing to expand. He's got a spine crawler here now. With 3 queens, he can easily gate this off with this spine crawler and still do quite a crap load of damage to these guys when they come in. He's going to continue to try for it, sending the Reapers up there. They're going to go straight up to the top, but they're still going to contend with the Queen, so I don't know how much they're going to be able to do. But it looks like they're just going to go in for a scout. They're not on a worker killing party. They're just going in for a scout. They would love to see what's that bloody tower thing called? The flying tower thing. God, I can't remember what the hell it's called. The Muta Den, whatever it is. Was there ever a Muta Den in the first game? Shit. It starts with S. Spire. That's what he's called. A spire. So he's trying to see a spire. He's trying to see a infestation pit, something like that. He doesn't see any of it, so instead he's going to go around to this base. He's not going to bother wiping it out though. He doesn't have enough DPS for that, but he's going to try going in here. Going to try get some workers. But yeah, that's not going to work. He manages to kill, I think, 1 ling there, but I don't think that's really going to do that much. Meanwhile, I've got a bunch of lings up here. Does the Terran player know that they are waiting for an attack? I think he might do. He is moving up here. I think he might know about this. He's also getting chased by these lings. Hopefully he doesn't get pincered. There he goes. He's going to roast all those lings. These lings coming around. But I don't think the Zerg has the advantage here. He's going to get a couple of them. But these guys, once they're behind the lines here, should be fine. Needs to pop these up, but here we go. Baneling's starting to come out. I don't think he has Baneling speed yet. No, he does not. I'm so glad I found this upgrades tabs. It makes things so much easier. And he really would like to get Baneling speed, but this is just a small sort of mid-game sort of thing. He is moving on to Aspire. And this is not a bad tactic versus Terran mech. If you suspect that your Terran opponent is going for mech, then mid-game mutas is an extremely good tactic to go for. Basically, in mech, the Terran relies on Hellions, Hellbats, Widow Mines, and Siege Tanks. Now, Widow Mines are a pain in the ass in terms of mutas, but if you know where they are, if you're flying around with an overseer, you can kind of avoid them. Tanks are extremely vulnerable. Vulnerable is Hellions to mutas. And the really good counter for the Terran player to build against mutas is Thors. And Thors require an armory, which is an extra bit of tech, which they may not have. They probably will, but they may not have. And even so, Thors take so many resources to build, and by the time he starts getting out a decent number of Thors to actually be everywhere, to get a Thor out at every base, or at least get his missile turrets up, your mutas can actually do quite a lot of damage if he does not expect them. Speaking of which, have a look at the units. Does he have any mutas? He's starting to build up his muta forces now. So that's going to be good. He's got Baneling speed as well. He's even getting flyer attack at the moment. So he's really going to go in with those mutas and try and do something. And the Zerg's even got a 4th base coming up. Meanwhile, the Terran player getting a 3rd base up is absolutely critical for the Terran at this point. 2 base Terran versus 4 base Zerg. He would get absolutely stomped all over the place. So excellent job here. We can see some missile turrets coming up as well. So if we have a look, got the infestation pit here. Where's the damn spire? Has he seen the spire? No, the Zerg player has... the Terran player has not seen the spire. so he's quite in the dark at the moment. However, the light will be revealed to him in about 10 seconds or so when those mutas come in and do an attack. Fortunately for him though, he already has a missile turret, so he's being extra prepared, extra careful, and it is definitely going to pay off. There's a Viking kind of come in. That Viking is going to die a very quick death. He might be able to take out the missile turret, but the missile turret, man, is still going to be enough to scare the mutas away. He's got another one here, and he is feeling very happy that he created those missile turrets. Meanwhile, some Lings coming in, wiping out that small Terran force. Another Terran force over here with tanks, and the mutas, man, is going to be Muta, Ling versus Tank, Marine Tank, and we have seen this matchup quite a few times. It is a favourite combination from back in the early Wings of Liberty days. These guys going off against each other. It makes for very exciting games, and oh, this is going to be absolutely awesome. But we are going to see some Thors mixed in there as well. Hopefully not too many. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it would be good for Beastyqt to go in there, get a ton of Thors. I realise I actually didn't introduce Beastyqt. I think I may have forgotten, but it is Beastyqt from Team Empire. Beastyqt. And that sounds like a bit of a sickening sort of name if you really think about it, because Beastyqt is if you can think that the QT stands for QT, then yeah, there's a bit of a I don't know. I think it's a little bit twisted, but whatever. The muta's doing a great job at sniping tanks, and that is what they are out there for. They're here to snipe tanks so that the Banelings can roll in and do crap loads of damage. Oh, he just missed out on getting that tank, but he did save. He probably would have lost 2 or 3 mutas if he had stayed behind to snipe that tank, so good job by him to getting those mutas out when he needed to. And here we go, getting the production up. He's getting the attacks. He's even getting, what is this, the metabolic adrenal glands. That's what it is, adrenal glands. So the Lings attack twice as fast. So he's going for Lings. And when I say Lings, he's going for Lings, Zerglings, as well as just Banelings. So it's not just going to be a Baneling muta army, it's also going to be Lings as well. This command center, he should have questioned his orders a little bit more, I think. You should not just blindly listen to your commander when he tells you to move out into some place. And these Marines coming out here, he really is missing the Baneling support right now. He needs the Banelings to come out here. He needs to get him on the creep and go in there and do the damage. And he's sending him out now. The Marines stimming away. They're going to run. But there's Banelings coming from the other direction as well. He's going to load up all these guys. The one Thor is going to be taken out. But he needs to drop the Marines straight away to get rid of the mutas. And where are the Banelings? He needs more Banelings than this if he is going to survive this attack by the Terran player. He's got 4 right now. He needs to get more. But he is getting Ultras as well, man. Heading into the Ultra tech. And Ultras are going to be awesome if he keeps the tank numbers down. If he lets the tank numbers get out of control, then the Ultras are going to get ripped apart like there is nobody's business. And I suppose we can expect to see some Marauder numbers start coming out in the future. There's a few Marines out there going to get taken out. A few Marines in there going to take out some creep tumors. So a bit of action all over the place. A little bit of attack over there. Getting a 4th base. His 4th base over here got wiped out. So the Terran player, man, he really wants to take this base out. I'm not sure why. He'd be much better expanding over there. Meanwhile, a bunch of Lings coming in here. They're going to take out a bunch of workers, I think. Yeah, we can see the Terran player is down a little bit. I don't know if that's on purpose or if he actually just lost workers. But here come the Ultras, man. The Ultras going out there, doing some beefy damage, man. And the Marines just not doing enough. And here we go, the tanks helping, finally taking that Ultra out. The Marines coming in, but the Marines have got to be scared of these Baneling numbers, man. And this creep, man, is letting the Zerg player down a little bit, because if he had a lot more creep, he could move a lot faster and take these guys out. And he needs to get the muta numbers back up there, not only to take care of those tanks, but also to start sniping medevacs, because too many medevacs, lifting those forces out and speeding off, not good for the Zerg player, because the Terran army just lasts forever. You can see he's 30 supply ahead of the Zerg player, because he continuously saves those Marines, does not let them die. Drones going to work for the Overmind in there, or whoever else is leading the Zerg army at this point. I suppose technically as Beastyqt, but yeah, you know, whatever. These bunch of guys, Lings versus Marines. This is an extremely close battle, but I think the Terran has this one. Meanwhile, the Lings going to come up there. They're going to get a lucky tank kill. They're going to run in here. There's not that much left over, but they are going to concentrate on getting down some reactors, getting down some tech labs. They're going to stop the production, a lot of production from the Terran player, and he can't really afford to send his army back here, so he's just going to have to defend with whatever gets built in the next couple of minutes. Ultras coming out, they're doing some very nice damage on the Marines. The tank numbers aren't as high as they could be, so yeah, I mean, with the Ultras coming out on the field, I'm not sure if the Terran player is as well equipped to deal with them as he could be. He's going to have 3-3, and he's starting to get out some more Marauder forces out, but not as many as he could have. And these constant Ling harassers, man, just excellent job so far. So he's taken this base down, and this still had a crap load of minerals left to mine. Meanwhile, there's a drop over there. That's going to take out quite a few workers there. He's really evened up the worker numbers right here. This attack was quite devastating simply because there were so many workers here. And meanwhile, the Zerg player, he goes with the Ultras. The Terran goes into a nice position here. All these mineral nodes providing a nice sort of clump all over the place. But the fungal growth going down is going to really start sucking those Marines' health away. And they finally do go down. And this planetary is going to just get completely owned. The medevac manages to run away, but there's no units left for him to take out. And yeah, I'd love to see the Zerg player get some sort of unit which could wipe out medevacs, because if you just leave the medevacs lying around, it is going to be not good at all. You're just going to end up with a stupidly large amount of medevacs, and it's going to spell death and despair and madness and all sorts of other bad things for your Zerg army, because medevacs are the tool of the devil, as every Zerg player rightly knows. Here we go, bunch of Lings running around. They're going to try and do some attack, but the Terran player's got a nice force closer to home. And yeah, he's going to be alright. He's mainly worried about this base over there. He's got this force of medevacs. They're going to be scouting out a little bit to see what goes on. Meanwhile though, the Zerg player's got this base up already. I don't think he actually lost this base. He must have stayed alive. A lot of workers he lost from there. But he's macroed up workers like you would not believe. Meanwhile, these forces going in there, I think they're trying to do a bit more damage. Didn't quite make it, but those medevacs, man, he should just go and wipe those out, because they're giving him an early warning system right there, and that is not good for our Zerg player. But it may be irrelevant soon enough if these Ultralist numbers get high enough. They are max upgraded, and these medevacs come back up. They're going to just take care of these Marine forces up here. You can see he's building more Marauders, more Thors. Thors are half decent against Ultras, but they're definitely not a counter by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I would say that Ultra's probably a little bit better than Thors in a one-on-one battle, simply because the Thors attack so slowly and they don't do bonus damage to armored. And I don't believe the Ultras do bonus damage to armored, no, but I believe they do more damage in general. But this force running in there, and you can see they jump in the medevac, they run off. This is a major problem for the Zerg player right now. It was an inconvenience before, it is turning into a problem. He needs to be able to do something about those medevacs. He needs to get some corruptors out there and start wiping them out. Muters may be okay as well, but muters, they die quite easy to Marine fire, so he can just drop down Marines, start hitting them. I would recommend corruptors to really start hitting these guys, really start taking them out. Infestors may be able to get some good fungals on him, but he really needs the corruptors to start dealing with the medevacs. Otherwise he's just going to hit again and again and again. And here we can see another force attacking this base. They jump into the medevac and they just run away. And the Zerg player, man, what is he doing about this medevacs? Not a whole lot at this moment. The Terran, man, the Terran player, he's just laughing. He is laughing his ass off at the Zerg player at the moment. He just jumps into the medevacs and he just runs around, and you know he is laughing at the Zerg player. And the Zerg, man, either he's just not on the ball, or he's just, you know, just not caring about these flies that keep buzzing at him. He's just building up a massive army, and in a couple of minutes he's going to run in with everything and just wipe out the Terran player. It would be interesting to see if that happened. Sending in these forces to do a bit of a scout, that can be the only real reason. The Ultra is just taking care of these units bit by bit. You can see a couple more Ultras. Might have killed a couple of them, but not really enough. And here's another attack here from a bunch of medevacs. And this is starting to cost him, man. This going down. He basically didn't kill any Marines there at all. And the Zerg, he's either got to move in extremely soon, or he's got to get something to counter the medevacs, because right now he is just being embarrassed by these medevac drops. And it's not like the medevac was introduced yesterday. I mean, it's been around for a while. The Zerg should know a myriad of different ways of countering the medevac drops. He's just not taking any of them at the moment. He's just letting the medevacs do whatever they want to his base. And I gotta say, man, he's lost a little bit of respect from me, from just letting those medevacs manhandle him however they want. Yeah. Really, it's just, he's getting a spore crawler up there, so that's one spore crawler so far. But really, not enough, not what he really needs. There we go, he's just taking out a few overlords there, but he lifts them back up and he's fine. Where are the corruptors, man? Corruptors would be so awesome. I'm sorry I keep going on about it, but when I see something like this, it's just, yeah, it's something that can be solved so easily, but it's just not. It's just not dealt with. And yeah, I mean, Masters level player, well, whatever. The dropships, man. Alright. Please tell me that LoL does something. Because the game is starting to turn around and the medevacs is doing all the turning, man. They've got their big hands on the steering wheel. They are turning this game around. Beasty wasn't necessarily losing at any point. He did have a tough battle against the Ultras. And he does not have the upgrade advantage in terms of the mech. He's got the upgrades in terms of these guys, but yeah, he really needs the tanks and the tanks to be hitting the Ultras. And yeah, but here we go. Here comes the massive amount of forces from LoL. He's going to go in there. He's going to make his push. Tiny bit later, a couple of minutes later than I would have expected, but he's going to make it nonetheless. And if he goes in there and does the damage, then all of those not dealing with the medevacs is not going to matter anymore. He's going to go in there. He's going to do the damage. However, if he doesn't quite have enough, if he got wore down a bit too much from all those medevac drops, then yeah, it's I'm going to say the medevacs really just yeah. Well, what can I say? Looks like these guys are going to go down. They're really pushing in there. Terran's trying to get a nice position on these Ultras, but the Ultras, they're still quite beefy, and they're still going to go in there. And the danger is, if these Ultras somehow manage to lose this battle, this is basically an all-in, because he's got nothing left to deal with these guys. A bunch of links and random stuff is going to be just enough. And look at this, he's going in there. He's going to take out a lot, but all his forces get into medevacs. He can drop them off. You can see he's building up a beautiful gate there. This is going to be a nightmare for the Ultras to get through, but he doesn't quite land in time, so he's going to fall back to his main base, drop them off there, and this again is going to be a good position to deal with the Ultras. He's going to have to face them one by one, and he manages to take them out. There's no good fungals going off. The infestors just going for the infested Terrans. And yeah, this force is just getting taken out, man. The Ultras, I gotta say, Beasty did some very nice work getting the good positions to deal with those Ultras. But I gotta say, the major thing was LoL is just his complete inability to deal with the medevacs in that game. He's just I really don't know what else to say. I mean, even an average platinum, gold, diamond level player, it's quite easy to deal with. I mean, alright, it's not easy to deal with medevacs per se, but you at least get something that can actually hit a medevac. I mean, at least get an anti-air unit of some kind, whether it be Hydras or Mutas or Corruptors. Corruptors definitely would be my choice of unit. But Hydras and Mutas, you're not bad either. Definitely Hydra's probably better than Mutas. And then again, Corruptors are better than both. But You're gonna get, I mean, if you don't get any of them, and you're being hit with medevacs consistently over half the game, then you really are dropping the ball in a major way. And yeah, I mean, the Terran player, man, I think he was behind on bases, but all those medevacs just buying him time over and over and over again. And in the end, even though the Zerg had a very scary army, he managed to defend against it. And that was because he bought himself time with those medevac drops that the Zerg didn't deal with. So I'm going to say his inability to deal with the medevacs pretty much lost him that game. And yeah, we are going to go into game 2. And LOL is going to have to pull something out. Otherwise, Team Empire is going on to the grand final between versus Mouse Sports. It is all up to LOL right now. He needs to win 2 games in a row. And then the next player sent up from the Karont team needs to win round 3. Otherwise, Team Empire is going to the grand final and Karont is not. They will be going somewhere else instead. Probably back to the locker room to have a fierce shouting match at their players of some sort. I mean, you can already have a bit of a go at Pro for leaving for no reason in the second game. And yeah, I'm sure you could have a go at LOL for not dealing with those medevacs. But we'll see what happens in game 2. Maybe we'll turn it around. Maybe we'll see an ace match, and maybe Karont will go to the grand final. And we'll see what happens. This has been Hairy Muppet. Let's go on to game 2 of round 2. Just coming up right now.